Hello, everybody. I am so excited to bring on a very good friend to COVID Calls with Kat. This is my friend who works in the public school system. I'm going to have her introduce herself. Here she goes.
Hi, my name is Marissa Rusch. I am a high school history and government teacher. I work in the Hart District at Golden Valley High School, and thanks for having me here.
It is so nice to connect with you. I think a lot of us are wondering how the public school system is working, and I would love for you to touch on how COVID-19 has affected your industry.
Well, it's been wild. It was essentially a Thursday afternoon where we had a staff meeting and they said, okay, this might happen. We might be closing our schools down. Here are some different online platforms you can use. And then within a 24-hour window, we got an email that said no more school starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. And so we had to kind of just get our kids ready. Here's your Google Classroom password. And then starting that next Monday, we were off and running with our online instruction. So it's been wild.
So it sounds somewhat stressful, and how did the impact feel when it happened? Were you scrambling? Were you confident? How can you speak about the other teachers as well?
I would say it was definitely a mixture. I'm very lucky that I, used Google platforms for a very long time. It was essentially for me just giving my kids a new Google Classroom password so that they could get inside it, and basically just gave them a quick printout reference sheet to say, this is how you log in, this is what you're going to do every day. And I've been able to easily organize it and communicate with my kids. Some of the other teachers who aren't as comfortable with technology definitely needed to take a lot of extra time out of their day to learn and definitely consult other teachers. We were very lucky that we have an amazing professional development coach at our campus that was able to personally meet with a lot of these teachers to make sure that they were ready to go once that 3 p.m. window came around.
Wow, it's so interesting. And, with this virus going on too, where do you see the school system, opening up again if they can? Do you see summer school? Can you talk a little bit about that?
We're all just kind of playing it by ear. I'm on the senior planning committee, so graduation is a really big question right now. And so at the moment, we're keeping our fingers crossed that over summer, we'll be able to have sort of a makeup graduation for them. But there is the conversation of what if school doesn't come back in the fall, and we're just going to try to get more creative, especially when it comes to not only creating academic structure, but also social relationships as well. I know a lot of our teachers have actually created, including myself, a teacher Instagram, where it's a separate account just to be friends with our students on a more professional level. And that's been entertaining for sure to see that interaction happen.
I feel like this virus in all the industries has really tested people's creativity and how they can, connect with their students or clients or whatnot. And, Instagram, if that's what it is, then that's fantastic. I mean, that's where the children are as well. What grade do you teach, Marissa?
I teach 11th and 12th grade, so they are super heavily into the social media world. And so anytime they see me post not only, nerdy history things, but also pictures of our dog or, our new puppy, it kind of helps just lighten the situation a little bit, especially when a lot of them are kind of, asking a lot of questions and panicked themselves. It's been nice to have that little fun addition, I'd say.
Absolutely. And my last question, I think a lot of us are wondering, because I've spoken to a lot of people on the East Coast, and I'm actually conducting this call with you via Zoom. How has, on the East Coast, I heard that the Zoom was getting hacked for schools and stuff like that. And have you had any bad experience with Zoom, or do you use it a lot in the classroom?
So I don't use Zoom all the time because my students have a lot going on at home. I'm also lucky that I teach older students, so I can assign them a lot of asynchronous learning where they can do it on their own time, where I know a lot of them are sharing computers or watching younger siblings, so they can't necessarily get on screen at a specific moment. I'm also lucky that I have older kids because if we were to get hacked, if for a voluntary meeting, I just, give them a heads up before and say, okay, if we get hacked, we're just going to end the call, and then you can just defer to your Google Classroom. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we don't have too many of those hacking interactions.
Right, of course. And actually, I have one more question, if that's okay, because
Sure.
now my wheels are turning. I don't know if it's too soon to ask this, but have you seen children's grades differ from in the classroom versus now? Has an A student in the classroom now suffered because of this virus?
In some cases, it depends. For the most part, it kind of mirrors the classroom, like in person versus online. If the kid is already in a habit of completing assignments, then they're still pretty much staying on track. The exception to that would be if there are Wi-Fi issues, because even if your internet is down for a week, like I had a girl who moved into a new house, she all of a sudden had all of this makeup work to do, and all of us as teachers are being so forgiving, like, yeah, it's a week late, 100% credit, like you're good. But for the most part, I think the biggest struggle is those kids that are just not showing up, because in class I can walk up to you and be super annoying and say, okay, let me help you with this assignment. But online, I kind of just have to hope that they're checking their email and calling home, and it's just a little bit of extra work to communicate, I think.
Right, you've restructured your way of being on top of your
Yes,
students.
I have sent so many Instagram DMs being like, hey, love, have you done this? Have you checked the Google Classroom? We just want to make sure you're good. Also, here's a picture of a puppy.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Well, thank you so much for letting me ask these questions. I appreciate your time. I know you're in the middle of your workday, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I love what you're doing with this. I think it's really cool to give people insight into different industries. So thank you.
Absolutely. Then thank you. And if anybody has any questions for Marissa about, what she's doing or how it's evolving, you can always DM me and I'll reach out to her on your behalf. So thanks, Marissa. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.